One day, things got so tense that Robert stormed off the set in the middle of a scene, angry over what he called an insulting script. When Blocker kept shooting, Pernell later spoke to him and told him, "You had a choice. You could always choose." After that, their relationship slowly fell apart. Blocker never said anything bad about Roberts in public, but he also never stood up for him either. It was the quiet between them that hurt the most. Third place goes to Chuck Connors. This fight didn't start on the set of Bonanza, but it was just as fierce. Connors, who played the lead role in Rifleman, ran into Roberts at a benefit event honoring Western TV stars. Connors was tall, sure of himself, and loved by his fans. He had an undeniable presence. But people who were there say that the way he behaved backstage told a different story. The workers said he was rude to them and treated everyone around him like they were extras on his own show. That pride was unbearable for someone like Pernell Roberts, who put respect and humility above all else. That night, Roberts didn't like what he saw. Witnesses say he stood quietly in the corner while Chuck Connors scolded a young helper in public for a small mistake. It showed a side of Connors that not many people saw. When they met backstage, Roberts didn't hold back. A lot of words were said quickly. Roberts said that Connors was dishonest and that he cared more about fame than honor. Connors shot back right away, making fun of Roberts as an angry quitter who couldn't handle success. These two people were never friends again after that fight. After that, Roberts talked about Connors behind his back as all hat, no soul, meaning that he was focused on appearances but was empty on the inside. Roberts thought that Connors represented everything that was wrong with Hollywood. Charm on video, mean when it's not. The fourth person is Lauren Green. Robert had many problems, but this one was the worst. Then his fight with Ben Cartwright, the actor who played his father on TV. A lot of fans thought they were close, but it wasn't really like that behind the scenes. Roberts often said that the relationship made him feel stifled and that Green was too controlling, both on and off screen. Roberts didn't like that Green seemed happy with the show's formula, its obvious morals, and the fact that it didn't have anything to do with real life. Roberts wanted to move Bonanza toward more important stories with moral depth and real human truth. But Green stuck to the network's conservative vision. The way Roberts saw it, that wasn't serious. It was don't fight. He picked ease over bravery. He told a friend this one time. What started out as a disagreement about art quickly turned personal. Roberts thought Green saw him as a danger, a younger actor who isn't afraid to question scripts or directions. With each new season, the air between them on set got colder. Roberts didn't like how Green's authorities shaped the cast. That everyone, especially the younger actors, just seemed to follow him. He was done by 1965. He quit Bonanza and one of the biggest paychecks in TV history to do what he wanted to do. Value honesty over comfort. Roberts' simple answer when asked why he left was just like him. I could never take off my hat and say, "Yes, Pa," for the rest of my life. People thought that Lauren Green was the cutest TV dad in the world. Wise, steady, and always kind. But for Pernell Roberts, he stood for everything he didn't like about how Hollywood was afraid to take risks. Roberts saw a man who was too willing to play it safe and too happy with the way things were when others saw warmth. 5. James Drury. Roberts was known as the stoic star of the Virginia, and Drury's fight with him wasn't about acting styles or fame. It had to do with values. Pernell had always spoken out about things that were important to him. He spoke out against racism, the Vietnam War, and what he saw as Hollywood's cowardice in shutting down views that didn't agree with them. What about Drury? He was a proud conservative who thought politics had no place in comedy. In the 1970s, when they were on TV talking about the future of TV, their ideological differences came to a head. Roberts was very angry at the networks for dodging real-life problems and making Westerns into what he called comfort food for the masses. There may be something I didn't feel the need to share with you. Pernell Roberts, who played Adam Cartwright on Bonanza, seemed like the perfect gentleman. Cool, sure of himself, and full of charm. This man seemed calm on the outside, but inside he was truly determined. Someone who never thought twice about saying what they thought, no matter what. At the time, most Hollywood stars played it safe by hiding their feelings and keeping their tongues shut. But Pernell went against the grain. He thought being honest was more important than being popular, even if it meant losing friends, jobs, and respect in the business. It was clear to him at many Hollywood events that there were some people he just couldn't stand. The actors whose haughtiness, deceit, or lack of honesty went against the very things he held dear. Today, we'll talk about the 5 names at the top of that secret list and the shocking stories behind each fight. You'll never see these stars the same way again after hearing them. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel if you like Pernell Roberts or old Western stories. The truth about Hollywood's golden age is much more interesting than the fiction that sold it. Pernell Elvin Roberts Jr. was born on May 18, 1928, in Waycross, Georgia, a small town in the Deep South that was quiet at the time. Life there was not easy during the Great Depression. He was the only child of Pernell Roberts Sr., who worked hard as a sales manager for Dr. Pepper, and Minnie Myrtle Morgan Roberts, who was a loving mother who encouraged his early talent and interest. He stood out even when he was a boy. Like most kids his age, he wasn't interested in sports or getting into trouble. He instead found happiness in music and theater, like when he played the horn in school band and put on shows at church. But playing wasn't in his plans, at least not at first, even though he was naturally good on stage. He went to Georgia Tech after high school with the goal of getting a job as an engineer. But he quickly realized that the plans and equations were not where they should have been. His heart was there. In 1946, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps and did 2 years of service for his country. Even though he was in the military and had to follow strict rules, he found comfort in the familiar beat of music. He kept his artistic spirit alive by playing the tuba and horn in the Marine Corps band. Pernell chose to take a risk when his service was over. He went to college at the University of Maryland, but the stage called to him again. By getting involved in student theater, he found a deeper link to acting that made it feel less like a hobby and more like his calling. Soon, Roberts made the brave decision to drop out of college and follow his dream. Full-time, he started down the wild but passionate road that would make him one of the most memorable TV stars of all time. In the early 1950s, Pernell Roberts packed up his hopes and dreams and moved to New York City, where hard work and talent were often the only things that counted. He then went to the famous American Academy of Dramatic Arts to improve his skills, while working a bunch of odd jobs to pay the bills. Pernell never gave up, even when things got hard. In 1952, his hard work paid off when he got his first stage part in The Man Who Came to Dinner. Even though it was a small part, it was the first real step in an amazing and sometimes risque playing career. Not because he was famous, but because he wouldn't follow anyone else's plans for his life. Once Pernell had his first taste of fame, he put all of his hard work into theater. His strong voice, charisma, and commitment to every part made him stand out right away. He soon found himself in some of the best plays ever written: Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew and Romeo and Juliet. It was his work with the New York Shakespeare Festival that made him known as a serious, emotional actor whose depth could make a room silent. Hollywood started to pay attention in the late 1950s. The first movie Pernell was in was Desire Under the Elms, which came out in 1958 and starred Sophia Loren. Burr Lives, a show that showed he could compete with the finest artists. In the same year, he was in the western The Sheep Man, which was a sign of the type of movie that would soon shape his life. He got parts in hit TV shows like The Virginia and Gunsmoke over the next year, which slowly spread his name in the business. Then 1959 came along and changed everything. On NBC's Bonanza, Pernell Roberts was cast as Adam Cartwright, the oldest boy who is smart and brave. The show became one of the biggest hits on TV, and Roberts became a common name almost overnight. People all over the world watched every week as the Cartwright family went on adventures on the Ponderosa Ranch. And among them, Pernell's quiet power and sharp mind were the ones that stood out. But despite his fame and respect, Roberts felt a strange disconnect. He had a growing feeling that the role he was praised for didn't really show who he was on the inside. When something didn't feel right, Pernell Roberts never kept quiet. On Bonanza, that made people both fear and admire him. He was often at odds with the show's makers because he didn't like what he thought was weak writing, and how his character, Adam Cartwright, didn't have much depth. Roberts thought that the show was very popular. but it didn't have much to do with society or art. In 1965, after 6 great seasons and when he was at the top of his game, he made a choice that shocked everyone. He left. A lot of people thought it would be the end of his journey. Pernell wasn't scared to start over, though. He went back to his first love, theater, while also appearing in guest parts on several TV shows. Willing to start over with his job the way he saw fit. His determination paid off in the end. By the late 1970s, he had landed the lead part in Trapper John M.D., which made him famous to a whole new generation of people. But Pernell still had strong views, even though he spoke calmly and looked deeply into things, mostly about some of the people he worked with. Now we get to the part of his story that not many people have heard. The 5 stars that Pernell Roberts really couldn't stand, along with the strange reasons why they were fights. You will never look at these Hollywood stars the same way again after hearing these songs. First place goes to Michael Landon. At first, Robert was polite and even friendly with Bonanza's youngest star. As Landon's ambitions grew, though, so did the tension between them. Landon was quickly becoming the show's golden boy, loved by fans and full of charm. But Robert saw him differently behind the scenes. Cunning, self-centered, and control freaks. As Landon became more powerful, he started writing and directing episodes. He often changed scenes to make his character Little Joe stand out, even if it meant other characters had less screen time. Roberts was very angry. Someone close to him says that he once told Landon, "You're not trying to make the show better. It seems like you want to get bigger." After that, they didn't talk much unless the script called for it. Roberts didn't like what he called Landon's perfectionist image. He thought the actor faked being deep on screen but didn't have any real depth in real life. And when Roberts finally left Bonanza, Landon's silence, his refusal to even recognize him, was the last insult. After many years, when Michael Landon became famous again with Little House on the Prairie, Pernell Roberts couldn't help but say something mean. He is said to have said, "It's more of the same." He still acts like a cowboy and a saint. Someone said something very hurtful that showed how angry people were still. The second one is Dan Blocker. It wasn't anger that led to Pernell's fight with Dan, who played the kind and loved Hoss Cartwright. It was sadness. While they were both new to Bonanza, the two were close because they were both skilled actors. Both are very interested in giving their personalities realness and depth. But Blocker began to move away as Roberts' fights with the network got stronger. Pernell felt hurt by it, especially when he spoke out against the show's bad writing and lack of respect for Native American characters. He thought Dan should have stood by him. Blocker instead tried to be the peacemaker and always make things better, instead of going against the creators. That looked weak to Pernell. He told a reporter, Dan had the heart but not the spine, in a mean mood. He put comfort ahead of his morals.